we are one of the only businesses that I'm aware of that can present the true nature of a delivery queue in real time. That gives you a benefit for continuity, but it also gives you the admin and overhead and the oversight and control that you wanted as an IT admin.
What advantage do we have over, let's say these very sophisticated devices that companies can buy?
Those things are single-purpose units, most of them, and you spend the money on them. They have a resource allocation which is designed for anything from 1,000 to 10,000 seats potentially, and you don't use that capacity. So you spend a lot of money on them. You have to manage them yourself. It's not an economical way to go. It's a better way of thinking about it is, well, there's this virtualized environment in the sky where 1,000 businesses run on the same kit as 10 or 100 businesses, because you're getting that compression from virtualizing the application space.
And with us being in 2 or 3 data centers with diverse bandwidth coming in and a resilient environment, does that offer a big advantage in terms of sort of routing infrastructure for inbound email and outbound email?
We find that you'd need a fairly large business before their infrastructure equates to ours. So at the very top end, you'd have businesses like banks which would buy, they'd invest in many DCs, and maybe they would argue that they have sufficient infrastructure to not need a service like ours. But for everybody else, the investment is huge to get to the same level of resiliency, security, and competence of management. So, a lot of companies worry about moving to the cloud, but it's actually a no-brainer, because in order for them to reach the same level of sophistication and capability, they have to think like a megacorp, and it's just not. It's not in the budget for most of them.
In our continuity offering, if we think back to sort of 2003, 2004, it wasn't necessarily high on our agenda to develop a business continuity or an email continuity capability. And it was almost a byproduct of some of the technology we developed in 2005.
The fact is, once we built the MTAs and they were database driven, we then had access to rows of table data that represented emails in queues. And at the time, it seemed quite logical that one would expose those queues as a form of continuity, because you couldn't deliver the emails. So as long as you knew which emails you couldn't deliver, you could essentially provide those back to the business that was your customer in some web format or some other mechanism seamlessly. You wouldn't have to say, well, you have to switch over, you have to stop something, switch something on, and then we'll show you your emails or send them to you in some way. You just had that service because of the way that we had mixed security with the continuity option.
Because that's always been something that's impressed technical folk that we talk to. It's almost like black magic, where you've got an SMTP relay where things are backed up in a queue, but now with our Outlook plugin technology, things that are sitting in that queue can be seamlessly rendered inside someone's Outlook inbox, as if they were local to the Exchange server or the local mail file.
The reason why it's possible to do this without a great deal of effort, well, it's obviously effort applied in a different way, is that we built our MTAs ourselves. And having built our own MTAs, we're in a strong position to provide tenanted data. So normal MTAs, the queue is a list of files in a directory somewhere, and you can't parse it in a rapid enough way to work out these emails belong to this customer and these belong to that customer. So it's a byproduct of going at the development of an MTA in a database-driven way. You get the tenancy, you get to select an email queue for a customer, show it to them in real time,